Batman to blame for the existence of his rogues gallery? Well, in Batman the Animated Series Season 2 Episode 4, the villains kidnap Batman and hold a trial to find out. They made Joker the judge, so you know the trial was fair and impartial. One by one, the villains take the stand and argue that if it wasn't for Batman, they would have lived completely regular lives and never had become supervillains in the first place. But over the course of the trial, we get to see that that's not entirely true. Sure, he might have played a role in some of the inciting incidents that created these villains, but ultimately, he's not the one making them into supervillains. For some of them, you could argue that Batman played a role in the inciting incidents that led to their creation, or he was the inspiration for them to take things to the next level. He is not fundamentally changing who they are. Mad Hatter got rejected a singular time. That's all it took for him to become willing to start kidnapping, mind controlling, and stalking a woman. Yeah, Batman might have failed to save Harvey from the event that led to him getting scarred, but it's not exactly like Harvey was all the way stable beforehand. Or Poison Ivy, who flies into a murderous rage at the sight of a flower being plucked. While Batman can and often does have a role in the existence of his villains, I think it's kind of boring to just say that he is by default to blame for all of them. By the end of the trial, they come to the conclusion that even though Batman might have played a role in the villain's existence, they ultimately choose to be the people who they are. And even if Batman wasn't there to make the situation a super level extreme situation, many of them would have just found a different, maybe a more mundane way of letting that darkness out of them. I think to just put all the blame on Batman would make the characters kind of boring. It would take away their own independence as characters. That's why a lot of the time when a villain throws it in Batman's face that it's his fault, all these other villains are coming out, I don't always buy it completely. Like, I'm fine with it being the case for some villains, but there are also plenty where it's absolutely not his fault. Killer Croc was a crocodile man that was raised in a circus and has turned to a life of crime because he can't really blend into normal society. Ra's al Ghul has existed for literally thousands of years, pulling the strings from the shadows. Bane was in that prison taking venom before he even knew that Batman existed. How much of the blame do you think is fair to put on Batman for the existence of the supervillains in Gotham City? And do you like it when stories tend to point the finger at him for being the one that basically made shit so crazy that they started popping up left and right to begin with? Let me know what you think.